Good evening again. Today we are going to discuss a topic related to the factory overhead. Especially in the factory overhead, we are discussing the 2 points, the concept of the allocation and the concept of the apportionment. Now, first of all, what is the factory overhead? All the indirect expenses related to the manufacturing that are the factory overhead. For example, indirect material, indirect labor, the rent of the factory, maybe the insurance of the factory, maybe the depreciation of the factory, so fuel of the factory, anything like electricity or insurance or any expenses related to the water, any amount that is related to the factory other than direct material and direct labor, that is included in the factory overhead. Now we have a concept basically here, the concept of the departmentalization. What is departmentalization? There is a possibility that in one organization there may be more than one department. We just take a simple example of some like a garment factory. Let's say that they have some department number 1, like a cutting department, the second department is the stitching department, and the third one is the packing or the finishing department. So these are the 3 main departments in some garment factory. So what we need to know that why the factory overhead is allocated and why it is apportioned, what is the purpose and what is the need for them. I just take a simple example, like if there is a rent cost. Obviously, we are talking about the rent cost of the factory. Now, there's a possibility that factory has a 2, 3, 4 portions or 2, 3 different departments are there, and this rent is for all the factory. We just assume that this rent is for $500. So this is what? This is the rent of the factory. Now, this is the cost of cutting department or stitching department or the packing department, or is it a cost of all the department? Obviously, it's the rent of the factory, and the rent factory has a 3 different departments or 3 different sections. So we want to know the exact cost of each department. So what we have to do, we have to apportion it. We have to departmentalization. We have to distribute this cost of 500 between 3 different departments. But there is a possibility, for example, like a electric bill. And for electric bill, we have a chance like they have a separate electric meters. For example, the cutting department has a meter number 1, they have a meter number 2, they have a meter number 3. So every department has a separate meter of the electricity, or the power meter is there. So in that case, we don't need any apportionment. What we have to do, we have to allocate the expense. So some of the expenses are the common expenses. So if there's any common expense, it needs the apportionment. But if it is a specific expense, so it is not apportioned, it is not distributed, it is simply allocated to some specific department. We just take a simple example. Let's say if we have a direct material or we have a raw material. Obviously, in every department we have a separate cost. Okay, now the cost of the cutting department, we just say that it is 3,000, this is 1,000 direct material, here it is 2,000, and the total is 6,000. So all these amount in the dollars. So this is what, this is the amount of the raw material or the direct material, and it is for each and every department. We know that how much is the direct material. In the same way, we have a direct labor. Again, no need to distribute it because we know that which worker is working in which department. So we just assume like this is 1,500, this is 2,500, and this is 1,000. So it is almost like a 5,000. So this is again no need to distribute that. But now what we need, we have to distribute some of the expense. We just took that this is the 500, this is the rent. Now rent is how much total? This is 500, but this rent is not for some specific department. It is for whole the factory, and that factory has a 3 departments. So now we have to know, we have to calculate that how much rent will be allocated, or it will be apportioned or distributed to the different departments. So normally the rent is the cost. How we distribute, they may be like according to the number of the rooms. So the basis of distribution, it may be according to the area, or if the rooms or the halls are of the same size, so what we have to do, we have to distribute according to that. So this is the point, that some of the costs are the specific department costs. So no need to distribute that, no need to apportion that. But if the cost is a general cost, which is some common cost, so what we need the distribution, or what we say the apportionment for that. And for apportionment or for distribution, what we need some specific base. So here according to the rooms, okay, just say that we have a 3 departments, like a cutting department, we have a stitching department, and packing department. They have a 4, they have a 3, and they have a 3 rooms. So these are the rooms. So rooms are given for rooms for the cutting, 3 rooms for the stitching department, and 3 rooms are used for the packing department. So it means the total rooms are 10. So in the 10 rooms, the total cost is how much? That is $500. So we have to distribute that 500 according to these 10 room. So how we will do? We will simply say that it will be 4 by 10, it will be 3 by 10, and it will be again 3 by 10. Means like out of 10, like 40% here, 30% here, and 30% here. So this cost will be distributed. So how we will distribute it? The 500 is total. So out of that 500, we have almost 40% here. So 200 will be apportioned to the department, which is a cutting department. It is distributed basically. Now the next one, again it is 150, and it is again 150. Now this 500 is not a cost of one department, it is a cost of some specific department, and we know it is distributed according to the number of rooms, or it may be according to the area. So it is distributed. So this is what this is called, the apportionment or the distribution of the common cost. In the same way, we may have other expenses like insurance is there. Okay, so what will happen? Again, insurance will be for the machine, it may be for the human, it may be for the workers, or it may be for the building. Let's say this insurance is for the building. So again, it will be distributed according to the area, or according to the value of the machine, or if it is for the building, according to the area. Or it may be, for example, we have like insurance, again insurance of the workers. So workers, obviously number of heads or number of workers. So in this way, the total insurance cost, it may be for the building, it may be for the workers, it may be for the machines, it may be for any other insurance. So it will be distributed, because that is for the whole factory, not for some specific department or not for a specific section. So it should be distributed. So we will distribute. There are so many things that there. So for example, if there is a cost like a canteen cost is there, and canteen obviously is used not by some specific department, it is used by all the departments. So what we have to do, again, we have to consider according to the number of workers, because who is using that canteen? The workers are using that canteen. So there are distributions of the different costs are there, and again, after adding all these costs, we have to see that what is the total cost here. Then we have to see how many units are produced. Then we can see that how these units are calculated, like a per unit cost is calculated. So this is the main purpose of the apportionment. If the cost is for the specific department, no need to distribute it, it is simply allocated. But if the cost is a common cost and it is serving more than one department or one section, it should be apportioned, or it should be distributed according to the specific, or what we say, the some specific or the general distribution basis. So it depends that what type of the cost is there, so accordingly it will be apportioned. I hope you have understood the basic concept. Obviously we will do some of the calculations in the next lecture with the more detail, like which costs are allocated, which are apportioned, and there is one more concept of reapportionment. And we will also discuss that one, and then we will calculate that what is the cost of the specific department and then the cost per unit for that specific department. I hope you have understood it, but still if you have any confusion, if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you very much.